Hello, Sarah Troy here from the orchardofwisdom.org and selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Welcome to our Mentors Practitioners Directory. Here today, I have interviewed the wonderful Deb Drummond and talking about her Women's Channel TV, who's on it, whom you can listen to, how you can be a part of it, where is it being played. Please do come to the orchardofwisdom.org and look under mentors and you'll find Deb Drummond. And also come and see all the interviews that I've done with her. There are 8 altogether. Plus she has some wonderful events coming up. But please have a look at all that she is offering here, because yes, you can have your own TV channel. And it's not that difficult. But in the meantime, there's around 450 inspirational TV shows right there, right now, that can change your life. Do enjoy, and thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to our Mentors podcast here. And this is all about the mentors that we have here on the orchardofwisdom.org and also as the selfdiscoverywisdom.com. And the reason why we have these mentors is the extraordinary things they're doing outside of just the podcast they've done with us. And I have the wonderful Deborah Drummond here. This is our 7th show together, which really, kind of rocks my world. And also, we've done so much else together. You could see in the background the Mission 262 accepted book that we're going to be talking about. But today we're going to be talking about something extraordinary that she's done. She started her own women's TV channel. And this is something that women can really get into for women and the men that love them, the men that support them. But it's all about around women's issues and how we can support each other in business, in life, in wellness, just in joy of being a woman at this era of time, and who is on the channel. How do we get to listen to it? What is it all about? And we're also going to be addressing how you can be a part of it. And yes, folks, you can be on TV too. Do not think it's only for the big Oprahs of the world. Anybody can be an Oprah with the wisdom, all right? And on her TV channel, this is the perfect place for it. But we're going to be talking about what this channel offers. So welcome back, Deb. Great to have you here for our 7th show.
Oh my goodness, Sarah. We've done it very quickly because it's not like we have not aged with the shows.
Of course not. Of course not.
There's so much wisdom. We have to talk often, which is really true.
Yes.
I think that really leads into and lends into how vast and how quick things are now progressing. And so as a woman in business and someone who has watched, as you have, how things have evolved over the years, sometimes it's easier to see where we're not, or sometimes sliding back. But this is one of the ones that you can celebrate. And I thought about it this morning. I was thinking about this show, but I was thinking about how many women I've been talking to lately about the idea of their own television show. And when they're like, "Are you sure?" I go, and of course, you mentioned Oprah, as many women do. And I go, how did she start? Like, did she think that she was going to be on TV? No, she actually got fired. You know what I mean? For being so caring. And she was in a position of sharing, whether it was journalism or TV or whatever it was. And then she had something to say and the opportunity came. And now that opportunity is vast and open. So when you said that you can be your own Oprah, that has never been more true.
And wisdom, whether it comes in a big package or whether it comes in a small one, is wisdom. And it's been earned by somebody's journey in life. All the redirects, all the things that have happened to them, happening for them, who they've become because of it. And, you've done over the years for the Mission Accepted 262 book, these incredible summits that I know that you have up on the channel as well. And these summits have brought forth some people that are extraordinary. I've had the honor of interviewing a few of them, and I think about 48 of them now for the Mission Accepted. A few. And it's you can't help but be inspired when you listen to them on the summit, and some of their stories are just like, what? How? You did what? And I think what it does for us is just shows us how resilient we are, especially as women. Because let's face it, as women, the push has been always against us, and we've always had to push through. And, it's not necessarily proving ourselves in a men's world. And in some cases it is, but it's proving our worth as a female, as a woman, and how resilient we are, how awesome we are, how flawsome we are, and what we've got to share. And you've given that platform, you've given it through the book, you've given it through the summits, and it was a natural evolution for you to go to the TV channel.
Well, it's funny because when this first all came up and the whole stand up, speak up, and show up, what people probably don't know is that I've built 7 companies, and it sounds like a lot, but it was over a course of time. And I'm not saying it's not a lot, but when I first started my first company in my 20s, I sat down with a coach who I always advocate for people to sit around with people that know more than them. And we decided to remember when having a mission and a vision statement was really like hot, everybody should have one of those. And not that they shouldn't today, but I don't see a whole lot of that much. The mission and the vision, when I thought about that company, was to help women and men stand up, speak up, and show up in their business and personal lives. And every company I did, I just kept the same mission. And then this project, I remember saying to Angel, who was compiling the book, and I said, it's time to put that to test.
Yeah.
And that if that's what I was supposed to do. And that's where that whole stand up, speak up, and show up, yes, you. And we added that yes, you part to the summits because women were sometimes in 2 different arenas. One was, I'm not there yet. The other ones, I've already been there. The next generation can take it. And I would tell her, get your butt on stage and talk. And I would tell the one who didn't think she was good enough to get her butt on stage and talk. And so that's kind of where that all started. So when we discussed that, I said, didn't know how, but I said, if we're really going to tide rise and make this a different summit and have women around the world understand International Women's Day is actually not just, a 24-hour experience once a year, then we had to get these women on TV. And I remember Angels, you're going to what? And I'm like, I don't know. It has to, from the very get-go, it was televised, and then it took 2 years. And when I think about it, it took 2 years. That's not long because I didn't want to go on TV until all of the summits had been seen live. It would have competed.
Yeah. So it's you've put everything under one umbrella, and it would have been a disconglomerated umbrella. And also it is around this wonderful book, which again, you've talked about, where's the camera? There we go. And, you've talked about, that 262 women, which I know you've actually added even more women now. And it was like, oh, what? Are you joking? No, the universe has spoken. Don't argue with the universe.
Don't argue with the universe, but I'll tell you, it's interesting. It's still 262. The reason why is because when we launched the book, and I would suggest this to anyone we knew we were doing a 5-year book tour. You're going to meet people, whatever your book is, however, you have 50 pages, 60 pages, whatever it is. So we took 50 pages and we kept them aside, and we put women of history that had been on the other side of the tulips for over 100 years. 1, to give respect, 2, to understand we're not here unless they did what they did. But when the time was right, and it was basically when we were coming back from the awards show, we opened a revision. And moved those women to 1 page because they've had their time. We've got them to 5 million in media impressions and 1 year on the market. And so now we're having women on this side of the tulip join. And so we're still at 262.
Right. Yeah. And so that's 262 women that have contributed to the book, that, have been on the summits or been a part of the summits. And as you said, a 5-year project. Most people put out a book, blah, 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 for the first few months, and then that's it, right? And here it is. You've been to the Golden Globes, you've been to the Emmys, the Oscars, and who knows where you're going to go next, right? You've been everywhere. And for you, with that business acronym that you have, and the mission always being the same. And I think when we actually understand what our core mission is, mine has always been to ignite heart and souls. It has been that since the beginning of time, in whatever way I have to do it. We discover through the experience that we've had, okay, I can do it this way, but I can't take it any further under this umbrella. I now need to go to try something else. And all that accumulated experience has really just been the lessons that you needed for the ultimate experience. But it's still the mission, it's still the core message. But I know that, when you 262 women and booked 5 years. Um, is there TV down the road? Even with the summits, did you know it
Right.
was going to be so long? And I think that's the beauty of it is do not limit yourself. Do not put a cap on something. Allow it to take you where it wants to go.
True. I mean, you're not wrong in anything that you said there. And the word allow. And then, even those of us that have done before, still braving into that next sector. And because the mission was about International Women's Day and having women honor that day, always, and solidarity and all these things that surrounds that movement within itself. We became a movement to the movement, right? We didn't
Yes.
replace that movement. And that started to curate on its own as well. I think the fact that TV is here and that we're able to, so for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, all of the women that spoke on a featured spot on that summit, all 440 of them, 26 summits, and there's probably 20 to 30 women are, as we speak, being moved over to that TV channel. And it's easy. You can go to debdrummond.com, go to the women's channel, click through, and you're going to see us at least 3/4 of the way there. But
Yeah.
within the next 3 weeks of this taping, we're hoping to be completely complete and up to this year of the last summit that we did. And so women can pick and choose. You
Yes.
can be intuitive and decide who you want to listen to. You can start at the beginning of a summit and go all the way through. I always say you're going to see different dates and different times. Don't focus so much on that. Just try to get intuitive and go, ooh, I like that, sounds good, or that
Yes.
sounds good, like you do when you go through your YouTube, like you do when
Yes.
you go through a TV channel. And so in the mornings, I listen to different people talk about different things, and I'm like, this is such a powerful library.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the core message, if there was one, it's gumption.
Yeah. Yes.
That's really the core word. If you read about it on the site or whatever, the criteria, people are like, what was the criteria? Gumption, which is why we have so many self-funding women, some women that have stepped out, some women talk about being gumptuous or brave, if you wanted to say, in their personal life, whether they're in business or not. That's really, and I think it's easy to convert that into motivation and inspiration when you hear another woman being gumptuous.
Yes.
So that's the power of that. And then you add the power of TV. The power of TV comes in two forms. Yes, 250 to 300 million. You want to be heard on 250 to 300 million. You want to go to Roku and find your, no problem. It allows you to be heard. It allows for that multiplication of media impressions, which drives people too. And if you're self-funded or you have a book or you're an author, yay you. We know that marketing can be interesting out there. So using TV for that. But the undercurrent for us around being able to put women and those that support women on a TV platform, whether it's commercial, whether it's sponsorship, or whether it's your own show, is look where we are.
Yeah.
So it's, there isn't people saying, excuse me, you need to dress this way.
Right.
Earrings,
Yes.
they're not really appropriate. Don't wear red lipstick, please. I'm sorry, we don't do blue hair. Sorry, you're a little old for this. I mean, I think about Baraka's story, how, she was supposed to sign a music deal at 18, got in a car accident, she came back at 19 and like, sorry, you're too old. I mean, seriously, right?
Exactly.
So the beautiful thing behind the beautiful thing about women being able to take control of their media is that they really truly can pick their content.
And also how long that content is. It's not just a headline on somebody else's show where they're going to ask you some sort of bizarre question that really hasn't got anything to do with what you're doing, right? A lot of sensationalism, and in the beauty of the summits of what you've done, and anybody that wants to sign up and have their own TV channel, is that you can truly put out substance and content there. And, I say, my shows are normally an hour, hour and a half. And I say, I'm not for the people who want the headlines. I'm for the people that are hungry for the knowledge that, can't get enough of it. My motto is listen, learn, and apply. Because if you've listened truly and you've learned something there and you apply it, it's going to change your life. It's going to have a positive effect. And as I said, about 48 people I've interviewed from the book. And they all come from the summit, from me listening to the summits. And some of them have just Some of them I got to know, Dee Lippingwell, which unfortunately
Ah,
she's
I know.
passed, and I had lunch with her and I got to know, interviewed her twice, and it's so sad to see her go way too soon. But just how she started as a photographer, and it was to what's the passion?
Mhm.
What's the passion? I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I have the right equipment, but I love doing it. I'm just going to go and do it. And that I think kind of was a common theme with many people is what was their catalyst into doing something that they really, really loved. And I say inspiration begets invitation. And when you're inspired by somebody else, what you started, just how, what, where, and you're inspired by that, isn't that the invitation for you to look at your own life and think, well, if they can, I can open up this door and explore what's there for me.
Absolutely. I mean, well, look at, I'm going to encourage your
Mm.
listeners to come to the channel and play that intuitive game.
Hmm.
Go, just look at and go, where are you drawn to? Is
Yes.
it, everybody's picture is there, which is beautiful. It's an
Mhm.
encapsulated interview. It's not like you're just like trying to find someone
Yeah.
on a summit scroll. And then see what happens. See the magic of what happens. It's really a beautiful thing. It's quite momentous. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you, the morning of, so we announced it at an Oscar watching party, and it
Mhm.
was easy to, I'm gonna say it was much easier to announce it there, because it's all there and lights and you're getting an award and all the thing, and you're more, I wasn't so worried about what I was going to say because I was given a very short period of time, but
Yes.
that was less, that messed with me less than the morning that I woke up here in my house by myself when we were doing a formal announcement to all the 262 before we started to load
Mm.
onto the show and make it more public. And I was standing in the shower and there was this little voice. I'm sure we all have one. And I heard, who needs a television show anyway? I was like, oh, look at you. Look at
Yes.
you. Isn't that interesting? That's my words for
Mm.
those goblins that come up. So even myself, who's gone through this process and
Mhm.
ready and super excited and very excited for what it's going to do for the women of 262, the people that are going to hear it, but even just from a global movement, because when you shift here, it shifts there.
Yes,
And I was
absolutely.
like, how interesting that that would just come up. And those are the things that can hold people back. And those are the things that get small when you listen to other people doing big.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But also doing big, but started so small,
Yeah.
just with an idea. And
Yeah.
we've all got, I mean,
Yeah.
and it's like, really, you again? Well,
Yeah.
thank you for your opinion, but it's not wanted. And,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's like my mother was a stage actress. And I said, Mum, you've done this so many times. Why are you nervous? But that means I'm engaged,
Mm-hmm.
right? Having those nerves and those butterflies means I'm tuning into the role. It's kind of anticipation and excitement and nervousness all at once. And
Yeah.
kind of sometimes getting that little thing there,
Yeah.
is that challenge. And it's just like, thank you. But I
Yeah.
know why I'm doing this. And I think that's the important thing. For me, mine are why shows, many of them, the
Yeah.
mentors are what you're doing. And it's about why are you doing what you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
What is in it for you?
Mm-hmm.
And how does it serve others? And I
Yes.
think when you know your why, then the driving force of exploration of where you can go with it, how you can do it, and what you learn along the way is so exciting.
It is. It is. I'm very excited about this. I'm excited about it for many different reasons. I'm excited for women. I'm excited for the movement. I'm excited for the women in the project. I'm excited we have two women coming on and doing their own show. Now,
Mm,
these women never thought. I mean, I got to tell you, owning a television channel wasn't on my treasure map, and I've got four
right.
double-sided. I have four treasure maps double-sided, and that wasn't on there, right? But like you said, just allow, and here we
Hmm.
are. And it's really exciting. So now I spend time with people that didn't think they would ever have a television show. And when I explain to them actually how simple it is, I'm like, have you ever had a podcast or been on a podcast? We're just going to switch that
Yes.
platform, and
Yes.
you're going to grab a larger audience,
Yeah.
and we're going to curate some of this, and that people can actually use their television channel or their
Yeah.
television show as a revenue stream. These are the options that are available to us now. They can use it as a revenue stream. It will posture things outside of what they do on their show. They can interview interesting people. They can use it as posturing for themselves or the people sitting in the chair. There's so many different things that you can do with a television show now. And you watch, I know in 5 to 8 years, we are going to see the kind of not explosion, but the rise of television, public television, live television. I mean, the only public television we ever heard before was, PBS or something,
Yes.
wherever you're listening.
Yeah.
And then there was the reality show, right? Lots of reality shows, the organizers, even the food channel is reality show. Cooking in someone's kitchen, and look at me, I'm in Italy, and all of the reality. And now it's powerful information. Like if you wanted, I call it infotainment.
Yes.
It's like there's entertainment and there's infotainment. And infotainment is that you're engaging people with inspiring, positive infotainment, where you're sharing things of rose. You are giving value. There's this whole exchange that's happening. It's incredible. It's incredible. And this is the wave that we're on.
So, it doesn't matter where you're at right now. Maybe you're just a person like, in today's environment, I sure could do with some wisdom. I sure could do with, something that stimulates me, that just shows me there's some good people in the world. That, it's not about burying my head in the sand or calling it quits. It's about foot to the pedal. I was inspired to start another channel on my network, purely out of what is happening, and it's called the Sisterhood of Common Sense Love for all the and all the men that love and support them, and that is around women that are kind of the mama attitude, rolling up the sleeves and going, okay, it's all a mess. We've got to sort this all out, and we're going to do A, B, C, and D. And just kind of stepping into that, and that's what you've got from many of these people. A lot of it comes about from something in need that they had to address that now has become an empire. And I'm thinking of her name, not Brandy, with Oliver, her son, that inspired, Mummy, I want some jeans. Right. Yep. The name just left me right now. I'm going to make
so many.
Yes, exactly. Let's see if I can look that up while we carry on. But the whole point around it is her son, who has I can't remember what condition he has, but he can't wear jeans because it's very
yes, the fashion designer.
Yes, I'm going to come it up. I'm going to bring it up. I've got it right here.
Okay, you do that because I was actually just going to reach out and have a conversation.
Right, and like her show, which I absolutely loved, for the fact that it was her son wanting a pair of jeans, and then her guy as a fashion designer having to work that out. But it was also Mindy Shear. Yes, but it was also then realizing, gosh, if my son doesn't have this, what about the industry? And then taking a year going into just studying the industry, listening to the people that are differently abled and challenged, and say, guess we want to dress wonderfully too. And how she went to Tommy Hilfiger and said, I've designed this, and like 3 minutes in, they say, you've got a deal. No, I haven't spoken to my family in a month. And you're going to watch the whole presentation, and how it completely radically changed her life. And it all came from her little Ollie wanting a pair of jeans. And that's the thing about life. We have no idea what's going to be the catalyst, what's going to change our trajectory in life. And again, that's where I say allow and follow the path and see where it takes you. When you listen to people who have done that, and you realize, okay, they may have had some ups and downs, they may have had some struggles along the way, but look at how they feel about what they're doing now, how absolutely embracing their path, and the effect that it's having on people, and the illumination that it's creating. Don't we all want to feel like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to the feedback. I'm looking forward to the messages, because we get them often.
Yes.
About now that these are, they've always been to the world, but we kept saying when women were speaking, so you come on our stage, we take your presentation, it goes through technology, we put it in a vault.
Right.
And I am really looking forward to hearing the impact of what it's going to do. Yeah.
And having been on the summits and listened to these people, folks, you really want to listen.
Yeah.
And, it's like cruise along that face, that title, what it is, trust yourself, go with it, listen. You're not going to just start listen to one. You're going to want to listen to them all. And, Mon, maybe, that topic isn't really of my interest, but then you listen to it and go, I was unaware. And I say,
Right.
when you're unaware, or when you're aware, you care. And when you care, you do something about it. Right. And that unaware of breast mass, who knew
Mhm.
about that, all these type of topics that were
Yeah.
there. And it's like I didn't even knew this was on the radar, right? And
Yeah.
here it is. And that's the beauty of it, is that you're going to learn something from all of these people. And for people who are looking at, and there's a lot of people doing TV channels right now, and I joined one, and she just couldn't keep up with it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot behind the scenes. So I know what you've taken on here. And
Mhm.
she folded because she just couldn't keep up with it. And it is a lot of work. But again, everything else that you've done with the summits, with the book, with your 7 businesses before, have allowed you to know what to do, how to do it, whom to do it for, and what door is open for other people to have the opportunity.
That's the ding, ding, ding. And I want to talk to a little bit about that before we wrap up. Is that so? We're an accessible media
Yeah.
house. Most people can convert that to we're affordable, but
Yeah.
it's bigger than affordable, because I truly believe it's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so for someone who TV, they're like, whoa, one, I don't, the comments are like, I don't think I can afford it. I don't think I'm
Yeah.
ready, or whatever it is that two, you can, because accessibility means that you can. That was our criteria in working with the network. So, they were like, we never worked with payment plans before. I go, you do now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, okay, okay. And I'm like, and so and women are like, I don't know how to produce a show. I'm like, you don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what your role is. Let's figure out what you want your show to be. Like, it's
Yes.
fun. Like, what
Yes.
colors do you want to do? What's the name of your show? If you ever wanted to do a cooking show, if you ever wanted to do a dialogue show, if you ever wanted to talk about books, if you ever want to talk to something about fashion or music, or what's important to you, you want to talk about philosophy, you want to talk about science, you want to talk about how to help people in their finance. Like, what do you want to do? And then we get to do that fun piece of, what does your thumbnail look like? What's your colors? What's your branding? What do you want when you open up that show? Like, we just saw one where there's like a jet coming through in colors, and all of that, like, literally it's done for you. So
Yes.
the idea about having a show really is working out what you want the format of your show to look like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's people that I just love how they do their shows. So I was like, well, when I do my show, it's going to kind of be like that format. But it's like, what do you want your show to be about? That's really your role.
Yeah.
Your role is to figure out what you want the message to be and what impact you want to make. Our job is to convert that into something that's produced and you have. And then we're under a huge network that is huge. And they're
Yes.
so supportive. They're so excited. They're like, it's time. It's
Yes.
time. And we're like, it's time. It's a match. And so when women think about, oh my gosh, I don't know how can, because it's a piece of technology. And let's face it,
Yeah.
technology can be a little bit flooding to the prefrontal cortex at the best of times. But I just want to tell people, your role is really figuring out what you want your show to mean. And then the
Mm-hmm.
second is we figure out colors and format. And third, we let everybody else do the work around that. And you figure out whether you want to interview people or not. Like, it's not as difficult as you
Yeah.
think. It's just not as difficult as you think. So I like to show and tell people that what you're stepping into has been curated for a very long time. This is
Mm-hmm.
an evolution in technology, and you just happen to be ready.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike some other shows that are starting off and desperately needing to get some content, you've already got so much content there that's already been watched. So
Yes.
it's rather like people that are in the book. there's 262. So somebody's promoting the book because of what they've got in there, which is
Yeah.
now promoting you in that
Yes.
book as well. And
Yes.
that's the beauty of it. That's where the sisterhood comes in. It's supporting each other. Have you heard this show? Have you read this
Hmm.
part in the book?
Hmm.
And that's where it starts, butterflying out or spider webbing out. And
Yes.
so whether, if you're ready, I will add, just like having a podcast, you're having a TV show, that be ready to commit to it. Be ready that you really want this message to be heard and that you've got a string of things that you want to talk about or that you want to interview or you want to be able to share with the world. Because the work you're doing is doing that all for them, but they've got
Hmm.
to come with the content and they've got to make a commitment to it because it's not a dabble thing. It's a commitment because you really believe in your message and the message of those that you interview or what you're doing, whether it's light-hearted cooking show or sharing tidbits, or whether it's really tackling some very deep, interesting topics. Whatever it is, you believe in it. It's your why, it's your mission. This is your platform.
Absolutely. And I'll say to that, because when you say that, you're like, oh, I go, don't, there should not be any butterfly with that. Because if
No.
you spoke on 12 summits in the
Yes.
last year, and most people have,
Mhm.
it's one episode a month. It's one
Exactly.
episode a month of 45 minutes. And each episode will equal the response of 12 summits. Do you know what I mean? So people are like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, if you're already speaking, if you already have a message, if you have a book, if you want to write a book, if you have a program, if you have a coach, if you're coaching people, if you're doing Facebook lives and Instagram lives, could you imagine just honing that into a 45-minute show once a month and then letting that audience find you and then push your television channel as come see me on this show, and people like, you're on what? Instead
Exactly.
of
You're
what I
on
call
TV. Yeah. Yeah.
popcorn marketing,
Mhm.
right? It's not as vast of a big a deal. If you can do a 45-minute presentation, you can do a 45-minute presentation. You're just doing it on a television channel instead of a stage.
Yeah,
Not that
exactly.
difficult. Yeah.
Exactly. So the door is open. So obviously, if people want to come in and listen and
Yeah.
take a journey to see what it's all about, then it's the women's TV channel, um, or the women's channel. I don't know. You're calling it the women's
It's the
channel,
women's channel. And
right?
probably the easiest way for people is to go to debdrummond.com, because then they'll get a sense of us as well.
Yes.
You can find the book that you're talking about. They're like, oh, this makes sense. And on the homepage, the women's channel, they click it and off they go into the channel.
And please, look at all the events that they've gone to. The Golden Globes,
Mhm.
the Emmys, the Oscars, and we still got to do an Oscar show, but we did do a Golden Globe one on what you guys got out of it, the experience
Yeah.
that you had in taking the book and talking to people about it, because that in itself is extraordinary. This hasn't just changed the readers' lives; it's changed the lives of the people that are in the book and what they've experienced from it, as
Mhm.
with the people in the summits,
Mhm.
how people have responded to them. So
Yeah.
this is again invitation because of the inspiration, right? And it is a way of your message really getting out there. But if you're looking for it, if you're at a crossroads in life, you don't know where you're going, you don't know how you feel about yourself or anything else in life,
Right.
listen to these channels, because I guarantee you they're going to steer you in the right way. And you have no idea where you're going to end up. You could be ending up with your own channel
That's right.
on the so
Right.
never say never. So again, please go to, sorry, I'm being a bit hoarse here, Deb Drummond, DebDrummond.com, women's channel. Sorry.
That's okay. You've been having some fun out in the water.
So, folks, please go to debdrummond.com and the women's channel to look at all the channel and see everything about it, how you can be a part of it and how you can watch everything. Also go to the orchardofwisdom.org and see mentors, practitioners. You'll see how mentorship there and everything, and all the shows that I have done. Mission 262, all you have to do is put that in under selfdiscoverywisdom.com, and the Mission 262 comes up, and that will be where all the shows of the people that are in the book. And don't forget to get the book. It's on Amazon, Mission Accepted, 262 Women, entrepreneurs, creatives, and media. So until next time, bye for now.
So when you go in, close the door.
We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tag at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.